Hey guys, MichaelB the Game Genie here. Tonight I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm doing, I don't know, kind of an update video. It's kind of a vlog, and it's kind of a Q&A. If these are things that you're not interested in, turn off the video now. If these are things that for some reason you want to hear me talk about, keep watching. So yeah, today guys, I just decided to talk about some things, so just get some things out in the open. First of which is YouTube. What's going on with YouTube? I've seen for a long time, and I don't really pay much attention to it, that a lot of people were saying that something's happening with YouTube. Make sure people are clicking the bell in the subscription window so you get notified. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought maybe it was just lack of interest or whatever. But I came back to YouTube to do Top 3 Tuesday. I got motivated because I saw the thrift dealers were doing it, and I was like, I'm gonna steal it from them. So I decided to come back, and when I came back, it was pretty cool because there was a lot of people watching my videos. I had about 3,000 views per video, which is excellent. That's pretty cool. I mean, when I was doing YouTube before, more regularly, like, you know, some of my videos, like the ones that wouldn't get much attention would get around, you know, around 2,000 views, and the ones that were pretty popular would get 3 to, you know, 5 and sometimes more thousand views. And I'm probably, you know, some people watching this saying, oh, I only get like 100 views or 200 views, what are you complaining about? But it's, what I'm saying is, it gets a little bit demotivating when you're producing content, you're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and it doesn't seem like people really care or there's an audience. And it just got me thinking about all those other people that are having problems with it now. Like, most of those people are doing it for revenue. I understand that. Like, people rely on this, that's how they make a living, or have added income that helps support them live. I mean, I'm doing this purely for a hobby, but it is a little bit demoralizing when people aren't watching. So, you know, I've always struggled with that. I don't say I have, like, depression. I don't think that's the right term, or something like that, but if I put a lot of time and effort into a video, I get so excited about it, and I can't wait to see people's responses and see how people will go. And like, some of the best moments are when you kill yourself to put together a video, and then, you know, you spend 30 hours on it, probably sometimes less, more, whatever, but you do something that's a real important piece to you, and then you put it up and you get a bunch of comments immediately, like, it starts hitting you, notification, notification, notification. But when it doesn't happen, it's a little demoralizing. So lately I've been going through a little bit of a funk because I'm putting stuff up and it seems like either people aren't watching it, or, I don't know, not interested in watching it. I don't really know. So yeah, so I'm going through a little bit of the doldrums, and this has kind of happened to me a couple times before, and sometimes for the stupidest reasons. Like, I would make a video and it doesn't get the attention I want, so, you know, I kind of get bummed out, and then I don't feel like making videos again for a little while, or at least putting a lot of time and effort into them, because it takes a lot to do this. Like, I have a lot of respect for the people that put tons of time and effort into it, because I don't know where they find the time. You basically sacrifice other things in your life so you can make videos on YouTube, so kudos to you. Anyways, I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but I'm just going to be very honest with you. I haven't been as motivated. I plan to do a lot of stuff, and I guess when I did that Halloween review, which was completely a spur-of-the-moment thing, I just started playing it, and I was like, man, I've got to talk about this game. And then when that didn't go well, it kind of bummed me out a little bit. But anyways, not a big deal. I'm still planning stuff, so I'm going to go back to it. But I did notice the views were off, and just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So that's one of the things I had to discuss. But, you know, let's not spend the whole time talking about that. Let's talk about some things that people wrote me today. So the Q&A section. So the first question is coming from a very good friend of mine, Dom. Dahmer's Cool Stuff, Zero Value Trade-In Productions, Dom Izeric. Dom, thank you, you beautiful man, you. So, what Dom asked me is, are you getting the SNES Classic, or whatever it's going to be called when it's released? What do you think of Nintendo discontinuing the NES Classic? Did scalpers ruin the NES Classic? And do I ask too many questions? Yes, you asked too many questions. Just kidding. So, am I getting this NES Classic? I will say the exact same thing I said about the NES Classic. I'm not going to rush out and get one. I'll just get one when demand goes down. And I'll stick up with that until the day it comes out, and I'll be like, I gotta go wait in line. I need it, I need it, I need it! Because I have a problem. People who collect video games have problems. So, am I gonna get it? I don't know. I mean, it all depends on how available it is. Am I gonna go wait in line for 8 hours like I did for the NES Classic? I'm not. I mean, anything on the SNES Classic that's going to come out, I'm probably already going to have. And, yeah, I don't have as much interest in it. I'm not going to get caught up this time. I love the SNES. It was a good part of my, you know, childhood from when I was 10 until I was, like, 15, 16. And, I don't know. You're asking a difficult question. If it comes out, I'm going to say no right now. I have no intention to get it. But I'll probably get it. What do I think of Nintendo discontinuing the NES Classic? I think it really sucks. I do. I think it sucks. I know a friend of mine here locally, Gerald Button, he really wanted one, but like most normal people, you can't just go and leave work and sit outside a store all day and go check every day to see if you can get one. You know, you have to work. So he didn't end up getting one, and I feel really bad about that. And especially the way that the scalpers did it online. They went out and they bought a bunch of them, and they had friends working at eBay Games here in Canada, Walmarts and stuff like that. They were grabbing them and then trying to make a couple bucks online, and I just think that sucks. I think it sucks that people that really want one didn't get one. I have a conspiracy theory about the NES Classic. I think that the only reason it was released in the first place was to create this ridiculous supply and demand issue right before the Switch came out. So basically this came out, it was in such limited supply, it was in such a hot demand item topic that, yeah, people were going nuts about it. So, a couple months down the road, when the Switch came out, everybody was like, oh man, you gotta go out and get that Switch, because you know the way Nintendo is. If you don't get it day one, you're not there in the store, you don't have it pre-ordered, you'll never get it. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. They sold 2.4 million copies with only one real game on the system. It was actually made for another system. So, smart move, Nintendo. I think it was a marketing strategy. I think that's all the NES Classic was. I don't see any reason to release a SNES Classic, and it seems like the way this was done, they didn't really care to make it. Like, they cared to put it together, but like I don't think they made any money off it, because if they were making money, why the hell stop production? Some people mentioned that they think that the modding community and stuff basically might have been what caused the death of the NES Classic. I don't know if it's that. I don't know. I have a business degree. I am a successful business person, I guess. I was a 30-year-old CEO of a not-for-profit company, not-for-profit organization, so the demand's there. The only thing that I can think of is they can't meet supply at their price point. That's the only thing I can think of. Next question is from Christopher Coe, and I'm going to kind of touch on this in a little bit because I've got something else I really want to talk about that's probably going to be a hot button topic for some people, and it's part of another question from another guy that asks this. So Christopher Coe asks, what are your thoughts on NES game prices, and they seem to be dropping a little bit? Well, I mean, really, we look at NES games as something that we love to play, but essentially they're a commodity, and, you know, they're a, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a fad. That's the simplest way to put it. So people of my vintage that played the NES growing up had expendable income, wanted to relive our youth, so we went out and we bought these games like crazy, and it drove the price of the commodity up. The thing is, now, people of my vintage are kind of moving on, I guess, and people of a younger vintage are coming up, and other markets press up. Like, you look at the price of SNES games went up drastically, and now you're getting into the younger generation that had the N64 growing up, and these people are crazy. I mean, these are the same people that think the originals, well, the not original. The Star Wars prequel trilogy is a classic movie series, but you know, you're going to see N64 prices go up, PS2 prices go up. That's a mindset. I don't know if that's it or not, or maybe the whole idea of game collecting overall is going down. I don't know. Going down a little bit. But what do I think about the prices of NES games? I think NES games got really expensive. And yeah, it created some outside elements that made collecting not fun anymore. And I'll talk about that later. Patrick Kearney Jr. asks, if I could erase all the video games I've ever played from my mind to play one game over again to feel that same feeling and anticipation when playing it, what would it be? It's The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It's always going to be The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Always. Mike Levy, my good friend Mike Tendo asks, when are him, Weekend Game Guy, and I gonna get together to do a massive collab review on Amagon? Never! F that game! No, actually, to tell you the truth, after I saw your response today, I really started thinking about it, and I think, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I've got an idea. You guys are both so much better than me, so I don't know if maybe we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it offline, but it's going to happen. I got one review that I've been promising to do for 2 years, which, almost like your videos, Mike, will lead nicely into this other review. There'll be some continuity. So, yeah, let's do it. John Perez asks, am I a Metal Gear fan? And if so, what's my favorite game in the series? I am a tremendous Metal Gear fan. At least I used to be. I don't, like, I love the older games. And just the strict series, right? Metal Gear Solid series. I really haven't played Metal Gear on the NES. Snake's Revenge. I don't know if you can count that. It's not. But anyways, Metal Gear Solid series I really liked. What's my favorite game in the series? It's gotta be the first. I didn't actually play it on the PlayStation. I played it on the GameCube, the Twin Snakes, and I love it. I love Liquid Snake. I love the guy that voices him. He also did one of the voices in, oh, the Tales game on GameCube too. He's so good. Anyways, Metal Gear Solid, the first one, and the version Liquid Snake's on the GameCube. Chad Priddle asks, how would you rate yourself as a Mario Kart banana peel sniper? I suck at Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart, but I suck at it. Like, I'd never be able to play competitively. Like, especially the way Mario Kart's evolved right now. I think I'm okay. And Mario Kart on SNES, I hold my own. But like the newer Mario Karts, once you got into having to do the whole drifting thing to build up your boost, I was out. I'm not that good at racing games, so I was out. Aaron Reichart asks, of these 3 games on the NES, which one is your choice? G.I. Joe, Contra, or Metal Gear? It's got to be Contra. I mean, because it's Contra, but G.I. Joe's are really close behind, and not because I think it's so good as a game, just because I'm such a big G.I. Joe fan. Chris Long, Weekend Game Guy, asks a very classy question: cut or uncut? Uncut, buddy. I'm an anteater. And finally, we get to a really interesting question, which will lead me into the end part of this update vlog, whatever the heck you want to call it. And I rambled a lot in the beginning, so here we go. So my good friend Jim, Kid Shrew, asks, 2-part question. Are you still going for a complete NES collection? And when will you finally see the light and make the jump over to collecting imports? Well, I'll answer the latter question first. When am I going to make the jump to collecting imports? I am never going to make the jump into collecting imports. If I lived in BC, maybe it would be a tremendously different story because it's like from traveling, and when I go there, it seems like imports are more readily available. There is absolutely zero import market where I'm to. I live on a little island on the east coast of Canada, and yeah, I mean, we don't have Genesis games, so how would I find regular... We don't have regular Genesis games. No one sells them. They're not available. You can't find them for some reason. So how would I be able to find imports here? It's almost impossible. Anything that I got would be eBay, and I hate buying stuff off eBay. I hate ordering stuff online, so there's no way for me to collect imports. Am I into imports? You best believe. recently I bought a modded Wii. So I'm going to get into two discussions here. So I recently bought a Wii and modded it out so I can put all kinds of cool stuff on it. And through that, I've started to look up a lot of import games, things I've always wanted to play, like Terranigma on the Super Nintendo. I want to complete that trilogy and play through all of them, so I wanted to go out and get Terranigma. Super Back to the Future 2 is a game I absolutely love, and Jim, I talked to you about this. I'd love to get a copy of it, and I mean, I would love to have a box Super Famicom, but it's just not realistic, and I don't really have the money to throw towards it. So, you know, I love playing import games, Castlevania Akuma, Dracula X, Castlevania Rondo of Blood on the TurboGrafx 16. Most of the TurboGrafx 16 library is all imports. I mean, the Super Graphics, the TurboGrafx 16 CD, the Saturn, there's a ton of imports. I just don't want to pay money for them. So that's where I'm to on that. I love imports, I respect them, but I can't imagine trying to go get physical copies. On to part 2 of that. So I mentioned that I picked up a modded Wii. Reason being is, at the beginning I talked about having some depression and kind of... Depression's too strong a word. I don't get depressed, I don't know, I just get in a funk if things aren't going well. Well, through like the whole process I was doing YouTube, I've moved a couple times, I bought a house, my wife moved home, and through the jigs and the reels, like, you know, when you're doing YouTube, you buy things. Like, I bought a DSLR camera that I spent a good amount of money on. I upgraded my capture device twice. Now I have Elgato, and that worked really well for a while. And, you know, you're constantly buying this equipment. What hurts is when basically things break. So I love my camera, and my camera was working. We'll go with the camera first. Love my camera, and my camera was working fantastically. But whatever happened with the settings, I had the settings set up perfectly. I dropped my camera, and I dropped it directly on the lens. Whatever happened, it got messed up, and it went off the autofocus it was on. And for some reason now, I can't autofocus by myself. So a lot of times I'll shoot a video, I have no idea if I'm in focus or not. Like, if I'm lucky, I can get my wife to come up for a quick minute, sit in front of the camera so I can focus it. And it's just the Canon Rebel DSLR, for some reason I don't know how to make it autofocus. It says it doesn't autofocus, so you take a picture and basically you hope that the camera focuses at that point. It's infuriating. So I was having problems with my camera. That was the first thing that kind of got me in a funk to kind of get me away from YouTube. Then my Elgato capture device. Basically, I was having problems with it where I was getting these lines through the camera. I've actually mentioned in a couple of videos, like especially Game & Watch, I was getting vertical lines. And I tried everything. I tried moving stuff. I just couldn't get rid of these lines, and the picture quality just kept going down and down and down and down and down. And I figured out it was a part of the Elgato capture device just was messed up. So the only way it would capture correctly and get a good signal was through an HDMI input. So then I started looking at, okay, well, how am I going to get all my retro games and systems to play? And I said, well, I'll get a FrameMeister. Then I looked at the price of the FrameMeister. So a FrameMeister is like $600 American now. And last time, I don't know if you've checked, the Canadian currency conversion with Americans, not so good for us Canadians. So FrameMeister kind of went out the window too. And I was just thinking about it, and really, I can get a cheap plug that goes on the back of a Wii. I can output the Wii through HDMI in amazing quality, and I can get absolute great picture quality for anything I want to record. So that's what I did. Got a modded Wii, and that's what I use to record all my gameplay now. It's the easiest way to record it, and it gives the best picture quality, and I don't have the frustration of my Elgato not working anymore. And I don't have the money to go buy a new Elgato, so that's how I capture my picture, and that's kind of a lot of the funk I've been having with making YouTube videos, because stuff just wouldn't work. So on to part 2 of Jim's question. Jim asked, are you still collecting games for your NES collection? And a lot of people have asked me this. A lot of people comment, when's the next NES Collection Chronicles video? Can we get an update? What's happening with it? And guys, reality is, the update is, I'm not collecting games for the NES anymore. And I know that probably sucks, and there's people that invested years of time probably watching me on this, and there's people that sent me games, tried to help me, but I couldn't do it anymore. It's just, it got impossible for me to buy anything else because a lot of the stuff I was looking for was so expensive. And there's a reality too that because prices went up with most of these games, people started doing really shitty stuff. Like, people started going out and doing repro labels, doing repro boxes, repro manuals. They're making fake games. And it just got to the point where I didn't trust games anymore. Like, why am I going to go spend $600-700 on a copy of Panic Restaurant if A, I really need like a magnifying glass and, you know, basically I felt like I was on an episode of Pawn Stars. I need 3 experts to come in and help me look at it to find out if everything's legit. I'm not going to pay $700 for a copy of Panic Restaurant with, you know, either a fake board and then I went back and I questioned all the games I had. Like, it just made me tremendously paranoid. And I hated people. Like, when I bought Zombie Nation, a guy gave me a really good deal on Zombie Nation. But at the same time, I had to put him through the ringer to make sure it was an actual legit copy. I had to get him to take the game apart, send me pictures of the board compared with pictures online. And, like, even then I still didn't believe him, even though I knew, and, like, I know he's a great guy, he knows people I know and stuff like that, but I couldn't live with it. And I just hated that. And I hated doing it. Like, it was frustrating. And the other thing was, none of the games were here locally. Like, pretty much I had dried up all my sources, so I was looking at possibly buying online, and it's just infuriating. It was infuriating to the point that I didn't want to buy games anymore because there was just too much hassle with it. Basically, these people that went out and decided they were going to print repro labels and sell these used games basically killed all my interest in going out and buying games for the NES. So that's one of the reasons I stopped collecting for it. There's other reasons too. So me and my wife moved home from law school. We were together for about 6 years before she went to law school and living together, and then she went. So I had all this free time to go collect Nintendo games, make videos, all this fun stuff. She came home, and finally, once she came home, we wanted to move on with our lives. So we wanted to buy a house, start a family, and, you know, we did that. It's very expensive to do that here in Canada. I'm sure it's expensive other places, but where I'm to in Canada, it was very expensive and hard for us, especially where my wife has so much of her finances leveraged into her law degree and getting that moving. So we bought the house, and things were going, you know, a little bit tough. And then we planned on having a baby girl, and when that, well, a baby. And when that came to be a reality, you know, basically, a couple things happened. I lost the room that I was using for a game room because that needed to become the spare bedroom, and we were going to give the spare bedroom to our daughter. So I had nowhere for my games. And also, I just looked at a lot of the stuff I had there, and I was like, you know what, I got all these games here, and I'm not even playing them. I might as well sell some of them. So I started selling off some of my games. And there's another reason to that, too. I kind of jumped ahead. So we had another guy here that's a huge collector, amazing collector, and a story broke that he was actually broken into and held at gunpoint. Him and his girlfriend were tied up and pistol whipped because people were trying to steal their games. Yeah, I'm not joking. And pretty much once that story hit, my wife was like, this is over. I mean, you going online and telling people you have all these games, we're going to get killed. And this legit happened, and that was another concern. And it was always a concern. When you have collections of this size, you're always terrified that every time you leave the house, somebody's going to break in and steal your stuff, and it sucks. And it wasn't so much about having it anymore as protecting it. I didn't like that either, so I sold off a lot of it. Yeah, so that's where we were, and, you know, I'm really sorry if I'm disappointing people here. It's just, it is what it is, man. I wish it was different, but it's not. It's not that I don't love games or love stuff anymore. It's just there's just things, and there's other ways to play them, and there's more important things in life. So yeah, I had to stop doing the NES Complete Collection Chronicles, and I appreciate everybody that watched, and I'm sorry I'm not doing it anymore. I really am, genuinely. Yeah, so anyways, that's that. I think I got everything off my chest. I think this video is going to be like 80 minutes long, mostly rambling. I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from, and I hope I've answered some questions on who I am and what I do, and yeah, I hope it was interesting. Anyways, guys, you know, I really do appreciate you watching, and this isn't a goodbye or, you know, I'm mad at you because you're not watching my stuff, or I've got a lot of problems, I'm not that guy, I don't want to be that guy. And this is just, I've been getting a lot of questions about, you know, why are you away, and hope everything's okay, and are we going to see any NES collection videos anymore, and just want to kind of give some answers. I don't know if, you know, I'm not that self-absorbed that I think this is a huge issue for anybody, but just wanted to tell you guys what's going on, and I hope I did a good job, because sometimes I don't, of explaining it, and I hope you guys understand. And then, yeah, that's it. Anyways, guys, I'm still going to be making videos. I still love video games, but I understand if you're not interested. If you were just here for the NES Complete Collection Chronicles and like the pickup videos and stuff, I'm not going to be doing those, because that's not something I'm interested in anymore. I just want to talk about games, and if that's something you're interested in, I intend to keep doing it, and I hope people watch. I hope enough people watch to keep me motivated to keep doing it. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.